Hey, sweet. Welcome to the first fantasy happy hour hockey NHL DFS
DFS.
slate. This one's for Wednesday, January 13th, opening night. We got 5 games. I'm just excited hockey's back. What about you, Tarin?
I'm it's my favorite DFS sport. And it just seems like it always brings the most value. It's the most fun to follow too. So
Yeah,
yeah.
it's not the most saturated, which is good.
Yeah.
We're going to be doing the format a little bit different. If you've watched the football ones, they're pretty standard with position-based selections, or at least that's how we did this season. But we're going to run through it here. We're going to talk about our top plays of the night and tell you guys either one or two guys. Then we're going to dive into some value plays, people who are priced cheaper, and we'll probably hopefully give you some more value. We're going to dive into some between the pipes, which is some goalie action. Our one goalie we think of the night you should pick. Stacks of the night, which will be our power play and lineup combos for those who like stacking, and that methodology of DFS sports, kind of like me and Taryn like. And then our a happy hour special or our best play of the night. Now that could be a person or it could be a lineup. I'm sure it'll change, but yeah, we'll kind of keep revamping this as we go. Yeah, do you want to lead this one off, Taryn, with your top plays of the night for January 13th?
Sure, and I'm not going to shock anyone when I dive into the Connor McJesus or Connor McDavid for the Oilers. I think they get Vancouver. Vancouver and the Oilers tend to play high-scoring affairs. He averages 16.4 DK points per game. I mean, at his price of 8,400, you're looking for more. You're looking typically in hockey for about 2.5 to 3x, meaning he needs about 24 to 27 points, which is not uncommon for Connor. He plays huge minutes here, power play one, offensive line one. It's him and Draisaitl, 106 points last season. There's not much I need to tell you about McDavid. Everybody knows he's a great play, but I think the matchup warrants it. And then I picked a D-man here, tried to bring some defensive guys in, and Colton Baraco for St. Louis against Colorado. He's 5,500. He's playing with Krug on DL1 here, so this should be interesting. And he's playing power play one. Both D-men are projected to be on the power play, so him and Krug are manning that. He shoots about 3.4 times per game, and he blocks on average about 1.4 per game. So I mean, you're looking at a guy whose potential is to hit both those bonuses and get a couple of those points. And this should be a high shooting game for Colorado. They tend to shoot a ton, which leads to a lot of block shots. So I like this to be kind of where he gets his value is in the block shot department. But those are my two top plays I like. What about you?
Well, I went the same way with your first one, Connor McDavid, 8,400. Yeah, playing the Canucks. I expect this one to be high scoring. I mean, both teams. Canucks have better goaltending. Oilers don't though, but the Oilers can keep up when they have to, which is they have the big offensive powerhouse. Um, I mean, the nice thing about NHL versus NFL is Connor McDavid could have put up 25 fantasy points and you could fade him and still win just because. So just because we were picking them, I mean, it's the first opening night. You have to take them, in my opinion. It's just fun. I mean, you could interchange them out with McKinnon too. My second way, though, I'm keeping it in the same game. I'm going Elias Pedersen. He's priced at 6,800, so almost $2,000 cheaper. Now he only averages 11 fantasy points per game, but if you look at his game log, I mean, he was either hitting 2 points a game or he's hitting 20. So and with the way this game I expect to go, being higher shooting, higher scoring, I would just lean towards him. There's some good combos too. You can play with Pedersen and the Canucks, but that's who I have. But we'll move on to our value plays here. My first one, I have a Dylan Strome, priced at $3,100. Expected to be the first line center with Kane and DeBrincat. Now, his average last year 77 fantasy points per game, but that's on lines 2 or 3. Kind of cycled around there, hovered a bit. But now being the number one center, I mean, he's gonna see a lot of action. So at $3,100, you hope he'll get you at least 12 fantasy points, if not more. So definitely a value play to watch out for. A lot of these are probably going to change over the next few weeks. Their pricing is all going to change. The first week is the best week to experiment and take some flyers because they're going to change prices real quick.
Yep.
My second one, though, this one's probably totally off the board and probably very low or lower owned, but I have Jimmy Vesey, $3,000. Yeah, playing with Tavares and Nylander in the second line, which is interesting. I think they have better options like Mikheyev that'll end up there, which is why I'm picking VC this. Like, I don't think he lasts at line 2. I think it's a one-time, maybe 2 to 3 game experiment. But 4.8 fantasy points per game, not that great. But if you're going to be playing with these two, like, you hope that he's going to get at that price 9-10 points.
Yeah.
Again, I expect VC's price to stay the same, but him not to stay on that line. I expect him to drop down to line 3. What do you got for some value plays there, Tarin?
That's interesting. I was going to ask you about that because I was on Daily Faceoff and I was like, why is VC on the second line? I was so confused. But no, I went to a guy I never heard of, no stats to really talk about on this guy, but Alexander Romanov for Montreal. He's a D-man. He was 20 min price, 2,500. And if you want to get to these high price guys, sometimes you just got to pick a guy. But this guy's projected to play on power play 2 is their only D-man on power play 2. He's playing DL3 with Kulak. Kulak does tend to play a lot of PK minutes, so maybe Romanov's going to blend in with that too and get a lot of block shots. I don't know a lot about this guy. It's hard to find info on, but he's in the starting lineup as of right now. Watch the news up to lock, but this should be an interesting play. When you can get a guy at 2,500, you're saving yourself for all the McDavid, Matthews, whatever you want. And then the next two guys.
Hold on, I'm just gonna jump in though. These first few weeks when all these rookies are getting their first games in, they're all gonna be min price too. So if you have someone that you think is gonna be a great, stud in the game, this is your chance to buy them at min price, because if they actually start getting points, they're only going up. So
yeah, that is very true. This is like the week to experiment because or go against the grain. Don't play the popular plays as much this week because really you have a chance of teams to just completely go the other way that you expect. But the second one I had for value, both guys actually play separate lines in Philly, and that's Lindblom and Patrick. So Lindblom's actually projected to play on the first line with Couturier and not Voracek, but Couturier and Konechny. So that actually looks to be a pretty good line right now. So, but he's not getting any power play projected kind of lineup. But he was awesome until he got cancer last year, had to be out for a while. But, playing O-line 1, he was having a great season the year before. So I think he's just a good play. Nolan Patrick is expected to play. All the practice reports are saying he's looking good. He's playing O-line 3 and power play 2. So I think at 2,900 and 2,700, these are two guys that are going to get, good minutes, good high value minutes, and they're good plays at that price. Jumping over to between the pipes, might as well stay in Philly. Carter Hart is probably my favorite goalie on the whole slate. 7,800, I do believe. I just think this guy, 917 save percentage, had one of the best records of the season last year, 33, 18, and 3. Just an awesome goalie. He averages about 14 DK points. And with the new scoring system that they changed last year for hockey, where goalies you have to get 5 saves to cover any goal. You want guys getting kind of the volume, and Pittsburgh does tend to shoot quite a bit. So I think he's just he's a stud in the net, and play him because you need that win to really get secure points in DFS. So where are you going between the pipes, Justy?
Well, it's funny you said that because I went the opposite way in Pennsylvania and went to Tristan Jarry in Pittsburgh. 7,300, one of the lower priced goalies, which I was kind of surprised. I have here though that you could go either way and pick either of the goalies. I expect this one to be a close game, being 2-1 game, 1-0 game, whatever it may be. I just think there's enough. It's just enough value at 7,300 that, and even Carter Hart at 78, that these two are the obvious choices for your net minders. Depending on your budget, there are some other good plays, where you can get some more maybe guaranteed wins. But this is what I was liking, and I saw the lineup, and I was just trying to look here what the records were last year. I can't seem to see it though, or figure out this, but of the Penguins and Flyers. But yeah, that's where I'm going in between the pipes. I'm going to move it over though to our stacks of the night. One we've already touched on a little bit, but I mean, you could if you're taking McDavid, you got to stack Draisaitl in there. They're going to get. There's definitely going to be a couple of power plays in there, and they're both going to be touching the puck. Great combo. If you're ever taking McDavid, you might as well just combo with Draisaitl and or whoever else is complimenting them in the power play 1. They tend to swap it out a little bit, but you could take Nuge, could take. I'm I'm sure they'll have Yamamoto maybe on there, maybe Puljujärvi. And then my other one,
Cassian actually.
Cassian's on the line, but he won't play power play.
He won't play power play, no.
And then my other one is I'm going total homer pick because I'm going to be stacking these two, and it's Matthews and Marner.
Yeah, I expected that. I tried to pick a few different ones. One of my favorite stacks, just at their price, is Montreal 2 with Drouin, Suzuki, and Petrie. Both of them play on offensive line 2 and on power play 1, actually. So you'll see more correlation between Montreal 2 and power play 1 there. And they're, I think, averaging both. I think they're 5K-ish, both of them. So you can get that stack really cheap. It's almost a secondary stack to one of your high power lines. The other one I think will be mega low owned would be Pittsburgh 2. That's the Melk and Rust Zucker line. I think that line is more talented. I don't like who they threw up with Crosby and Gensel as much. So I kind of think Pitt 2 might be better. And there's quite a bit of correlation between Melk and Rust on power play 1. And then one of my favorite stacks is like finding a way to maybe just stack McDavid by himself and go to the other side of the puck and go Miller, Pedersen, Hughes. I think they're just way cheaper. You're paying, to almost 3,000 less to stack Pedersen and Miller than you are Draisaitl and McDavid. So it's just a good way to hedge against everybody owning the high price guys. So I guess we're bouncing into the happy hour special, the creme de la creme here. And that is Andre Burakovsky at 4,800.
I literally have him in his mind too.
Yeah, do you? He is my favorite play by far on this whole slate. He's playing on line 1 with McKinnon and Rantanen. He plays on power play 2, so he doesn't correlate there. But this line is one of the best lines in hockey. They're constantly high, like in the other team's end. High danger chances are mega high. Burakovsky averaged over 10 points for his last 5 games there in the playoffs against Dallas. He was scoring, I think, almost 3 goals in 4 games there at the end. Averages about 9.2 DK points per game, but now he's playing on line 1 instead of line 2. I just think this is a lock at 4,800. So tell me anything else I didn't say.
Well, here I'll dive into it a little bit deeper to break it down to help people understand why this is such a great play coming in from the playoffs. So he's playing with McKinnon and Rantanen, 4,800 bucks, 9.8 fantasy points is his average. But if you look at his last 5 games that were in the playoffs, his last 5 games, his fantasy points were 13, 30, 17, and 18. So you look at that and you average that out and it's, around 20 fantasy points per game. So he's been doubling it. So him playing now with McKinnon and Rantanen, I mean, at that price, you almost have to take him. I think it's a steal. You could stack him with, McKinnon or Rantanen and or all of them. There's just a lot of options here. I just think at that price, you have to have him in all your lineups. It's going to be he's going to go up. This is the cheapest he'll be.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, hopefully you guys found value in this and enjoyed the first January 13th DFS. If you do, then stay tuned and watch for our Saturday one for the 16th. Peace.